The Edelrid Pinch is a single-strand assisted braking device that rivals the Petzl Grigri. Here's a few of the specs and features that have stood out to me. Hi there again. I'm Jason. I've been using the Edelrid Pinch for a while now. And I wanted to call out what I've noticed about the device in comparison to the Grigri. In this review, I'm going to focus on what really has stood out to me, the stuff I've truly noticed. If you want to go really deep on this device, both How Not To and Hard is Easy have done some worthy deeper dives, and I've put links to those videos in the description. The first thing I noticed was the weight. It is considerably heavier than the Grigri. But if we consider the added weight of a locking carabiner as used with the Grigri, the weight starts to get comparable. The reason this might be a consideration is because one of the unique features of the Pinch is that it can be clipped directly to the belay loop of our harness using the push-button latch. When in this configuration, if I'm not blocking the camming mechanism, I can throw a carabiner's length more rope out when lead belaying as the climber is making a clip. But if I am blocking the cam with a Grigri, I can pull the Grigri device down further because it is further away from the harness and thus give out more rope that way. If you are worried about this setup straight on the belay loop, you can add a locker to the configuration as a backup. Not too big a deal here, but if you do, then there goes the weight savings. Of course, you can use it with a locker in the standard configuration too, with a locker connecting the device to the belay loop. A couple of things of note here though. In this more standard configuration, we've added back in the possibility of cross-loading the carabiner, something that cannot happen with the other two setups. While exceeding a 7 kN force at the belay loop is not likely, with the Grigri, Petzl warns against the carabiner rotating and blocking the camming mechanism. With the Pinch, because it is a little bit bigger, it takes a very large carabiner for that to be possible. Additionally, the Pinch's larger opening at the clip point means that even specialized horned carabiners with keeper gates won't stop the Pinch from rotating as they would with the Grigri. So either the more typical D-shaped carabiner or a fully inverted keeper carabiner with the Pinch at the keeper end might be the best options. The reason that connection point is so wide, though, is because the Pinch allows you to orient the device in 4 directions when belaying from the top in a multi-pitch scenario. That means we can always keep the lowering lever from being blocked by the rock formation without having to add in an additional carabiner just for orienting the device. Another specification that matters is the lower range of approved rope diameters, only going from 8.5 millimeters to 10.5 millimeters instead of all the way to 11 millimeters like the Grigri. Edelrid also has tightened the spring in the camming mechanism a bit more, meaning it takes slightly more force to engage the cam. That helps when giving out slack on a lead belay, but really only with skinny ropes. The narrower constriction around the rope means that with ropes above 9 millimeters or so, we give back that advantage in paying out slack slightly more easily by adding in more friction. If you've mastered the thumb over method using the Grigri, none of that matters, however. On the flip side of a tighter cam, the Pinch will not lock up if we don't have our hand on the brake strand. Note that neither Edelrid nor Petzl say letting go of the brake strand is proper use. For rappelling, the grooves at the pivot point of the brake strand means we get a little added assistance in friction for our rappel, which I found gives me more margin for error when managing the precise level of tension needed in the lowering lever. Another feature when it comes to rappelling, or lowering for that matter, is that the Pinch does come with an anti-panic function, meaning pulling the lever too far will actually disengage the system and we will stop lowering. However, Edelrid also provides a screw that blocks the lever before it can be pulled too far for those who want to use the device without that anti-panic function. Maybe the most impactful feature for me, though, is that the Pinch is the only assisted braking device that has been explicitly approved by the manufacturer for use in a fixed point lead belay where we belay straight off the anchor. Without going too deep into this, in typical scenarios with a fixed point lead belay, we want to have some slip in the system because there isn't a human in the system acting as a shock absorber when the leader falls. That normally can result in some rough catches and potential rope damage if using assisted braking devices. Given that my kids don't weigh enough to catch my lead falls, we actually use fixed point lead belays quite a bit, and so being able to do this with the added benefit of a brake assist is quite comforting. Finally, there is the cost. As of this writing, the list price for the Pinch is $124.95 US, while the Grigri lists at $99 US. Of course, Belay devices go on sale often, so shopping around can equalize the prices. Am I glad I have the Pinch? Yes, for the type of climbing I often do with the climbing partners I often have, it's been a help. But for others, in other circumstances, the differences might be around the margins. Have you tried the Edelrid Pinch? Do you like it? Tell us what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. If you like these kinds of comparative reviews, you can watch a recent gear review video we did about the new version of the Blue Ice Schauka Pro harness, or you can check out our entire gear-specific playlist. We'll see you next week and keep on getting more out of that big outside.